Were Aaliyah and Damon Dash really meant to be?
If it wasn't for Tony, oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm coming back with another Aaliyah video. But before I begin, I want to wish everybody a happy New Year's, happy 2022. I'm wishing you a healthy, successful, and happy 2022. Make this your best year yet. And as y'all can see by the title, this video is going to be about Aaliyah and Damon Dash. And were they really meant to be? Would he have cheated on her? Was he already cheating on her? How would have things played out if the accident never happened? Let's discuss it. Oh. And this is for the people who's not going to watch the whole video. And this is for the people, what's the point of this video? Oh, you're just doing this for views. No. This video, it's the hypothetical video. It's questioning the unknown. When it comes to Aaliyah and her legacy and her career, there's a lot of unknowns. And I've talked about that in many of my other videos. But when it comes to her life, that's another unknown. Think about it, her peers who had children and marriages and this and that, but we never got to see Aaliyah do that. We never got to see what Aaliyah would do. And at the time, she was with Damon Dash and following the love story and the meeting and dating and history and everything. I just wanted to compile this video to really ask y'all, present the facts, present the audio, the footage, the pictures, to really ask y'all, do y'all think Aaliyah and Damon Dash were really meant to be? And do y'all think they would still be together today? Because I know a lot of people were curious about the thereafter. What if that never happened? And over the years, and even at that time, Damon Dash has done and said some questionable things that left a lot of Aaliyah fans like, So we get into when they first met, right? Late 1999 and going into the 2000s, they were introduced by mutual friends. But they didn't get first photographed together until P. Diddy's 4th of July party in the year 2000. Y'all know those pictures, those famous pictures, the all-white party? You know, they had already met each other, but that's when they were getting to know each other better. And it was those rumors that she was with Jay-Z and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? But in the end, we all know she chose Damon Dash. From this time forward, they had a budding romance, and they always spent time with each other when they could. They were both busy. Aaliyah was Aaliyah. I mean, do I need to say anything more? And Damon Dash was a co-founder of Rockefeller Records with Jay-Z. And y'all know at the time, that was a big label. So, you know, sometimes, or most of the times, their schedules conflicted, but when they could, they always spent time together. If you go back and look at many interviews with Damon Dash talking about Aaliyah, he always says many times that he felt like Aaliyah was the coolest girl in the world, and the coolest girl in the world chose him. So it's like, it was like a dream come true, you know? Because we already know the thing, but you know, a lot of guys in the industry was after Aaliyah. So for Aaliyah to settle down and really choose Damon Dash, it was like, it was too good to be true. But she chose him.
But she was the coolest. It's almost amazing to me that I'm the guy that was with Aaliyah. Like, I'm almost a fan of myself. Like, who is that guy? Who could it be that cool to be with Aaliyah? Like, who could have actually been with Aaliyah? Me. And that's crazy. So I gotta appreciate that.
They spent so much time together to the point where Aaliyah even met Damon Dash's son, Boogie. You go back and look at some interviews with Boogie, he's a grown man now, right? He even says how Aaliyah was like a big kid. He had so much fun with her. Aaliyah loved playing video games with him, and it was just...
Remember she used to babysit you?
Yeah, I used to have a lot of fun with Aaliyah.
I believe I was around my preteen years when Aaliyah and my father were together. Aaliyah, she just liked to have a lot of fun. She was like a big kid. I still remember the day when Aaliyah died. I wasn't with my father at the time, My cousins and I all heard it, and there was like 10 of us. We were just all crying down the line.
It was just an instant connection between all of them. But as we all know, as the real Aaliyah fans know, Aaliyah was private about her private life, and she didn't really admit to the relationship, which most people already knew about, and she had the right not to.
Movies coming out, you have a new album coming out, you're working on more movies. Does that leave any time for like boyfriends in your life?
Well, it's a lot. It's a lot of work, but you can make time for everything.
So you
So
wait.
I'm gonna leave it.
So you
at
have
that.
a boyfriend in your life?
It's personal life.
It's
That's
personal?
the personal life.
No.
I don't really discuss it. It's
You
hard
don't-
when you're in this business. You become a
can't
public
talk about
figure.
it.
You know what I mean? And everything you do belongs to the public, and that's fine. But there's parts that you want to keep for you. You
It
know?
started to become more evident. It started to become more apparent that they were together. They started to appear on red carpets and movie premieres together. And even basketball games.
As the stars come out in the first row to watch this pivotal game.
This was a well-known secret because it's like it wasn't officially said, but it's kind of like at that point it was obvious that they were together. And in the headlines, it was kind of like this good girl, bad guy thing, like because you know Aaliyah had that innocent persona, sweet girl image. She had the edgy thing to her, but she also had that sweet girl thing to her too, you know. And Damon Dash was Damon Dash. I mean, you know, Rockefeller, Playboy with Jay-Z, and you know, yeah, basically he had that image of being like a womanizer, being a player. So for him to be with Aaliyah and for him to have settled down with her, it was like, oh, okay. And many wonder to this day how that relationship would have played out, how that potential marriage would have played out. Because even after Aaliyah's passing, Damon Dash admitted that when they finally got the time, when their schedules didn't conflict, it was going to get engaged.
Made plans to be married.
Yeah, we were definitely gonna get married. As soon as she had time, we were getting married. Like after the Matrix. We hadn't discussed it with anybody, but in our personal plans, just that both our lives, whether she was always doing something or I was always doing something, and that was what was painful. You know what I'm saying? So.
Do you think you would have married her one day?
Yeah.
And if you really think about it, that means that by age 23 or 24, let's say that's when the marriage would have happened for Aaliyah. Aaliyah would have been a stepmother to his son Boogie, because as Damon Dash said in an interview, he was a single father at the time.
I'm a single father, and I had my son Boogie since he was 8.
So it's like, I really wonder how that would have played out. And what do y'all think about that? Like Aaliyah having a stepchild before she has her own actual child. But you can see she loved him so much that, that's what eventually would have happened. There's even pictures of Aaliyah's mother and Damon Dash together. And from the looks of it, it seems as she approved of the relationship in some type of way. Now, we get into the nitty gritty. We get into the sides of Damon Dash that left people and left many Aaliyah fans questioning the whole relationship and being like, were they really meant to be? How would that have played out? And many have different opinions on this, but like 2, 3, 4 years after Aaliyah's passing, he married Rachel Roy, who was a fashion designer at the time, a big fashion designer in the industry. And many people have even allegedly claimed that he was already seeing her while he was with Aaliyah. So he waited a few years after everything with the accident had fizzled over to just move on. And here's another thing, right? It's so many different interviews that Damon Dash did after Aaliyah's accident, at the time, over the years, that you listen to some of them at that time, he seemed kind of cold and firm, and it was kind of like, damn. Not to mention that it's Aaliyah, the famous singer, the famous entertainer. You just lost your girlfriend in this tragic accident, and his answers was kind of like just cold and firm. And
I waited in the house and I was getting a haircut, and when they told me that there was a crash, it was her mom that told me, and they said they didn't find all the bodies yet, so they didn't know if she was still alive. But for me, I was like, so it's a wrap. So I hadn't finished my haircut, And I took all of her clothes out of my house and everything, and I went to go see her mom.
But to that I say, people grieve in different ways. Some people are emotional. Some people just take it in, hold it in, and they release it in different ways, you know. But then you look at other interviews where he's clearly emotional, he's lost for words, he's searching for the right words to say, you know, and it's kind of like you can tell that over the years it has weighed heavily on him. Her death still weighs heavily on him. I mean, why wouldn't it? That was his girlfriend at the time. But you can see the different personas he has when he even talks about her over the last 20 years. But talking about Rachel Roy again, by 2004 or 5, he was already remarried to her. And a lot of people was like, damn, he moved kind of fast. And of course, you know, when you lose a loved one, especially somebody who's only engaged to, it's hard. It's a lot of pain. It's a lot of trauma, right? But as many people will tell you, as life goes on, you have to move on, you know? And that's what he did. But a lot of people was like, it's that circulation of rumors that he was already seeing her. That's why he was able to just marry her in that time frame, like 2-3 years later. Then, a few years ago, this quick 8-second footage came out of, apparently you could see that Aaliyah and Damon Dash was at some type of club, some type of event, and some music was playing, right? And then like Aaliyah's trying to walk by the camera, Damon Dash is like being himself, dancing in front of the camera, and he like grabs Aaliyah to be in front of the camera with him. And you could tell Aaliyah is kind of like shy and like a little like, oh, and Damon Dash is like, you know, the life of the party. And that has split a lot of fans up, where you can see a lot of people saying like, oh my God, look how aggressive he was. Look how he grabbed her. Oh my, like, you know, in a way like almost like abuse, in a way like he was like really aggressive with her. And you could tell like Aaliyah was like a little shy and like reserved and like, oh, like she didn't want to be on camera at that time. And he just pulled her like, come dance with me. Like, look at this clip and let me know what y'all think. After watching it so many times, I feel like it goes back into that good girl, bad guy thing where you can see that Damon Dash was the life of the party. He had that bad boy, aggressive type of energy. And you could tell Aaliyah was just like the, you know, we know Aaliyah, she could turn it on for the cameras, but that was her personal life. She was just at an event, at the club, doing whatever. She didn't want to be on camera. But Damon Dash like kind of forced her to be on the camera, and you could tell Aaliyah's like, oh my God. Take it as Damon Dash's aggressive nature of just, you know, that's just how he was. That's just how playful he was. And obviously, I don't think there was no abuse. It was no like, you know what I'm saying? But that did throw a lot of Aaliyah fans off when that footage first came out. And I first saw it, I kind of was like, But you rewatch it so many times, you like, you know, that they were just playing. And being the Aaliyah fan that I am, and all the different articles I read, there was one article I remember when she was talking about being in the Matrix, where they asked about her dream guy, right? And at the time, I feel like she was already seeing Dame Dash, right? She said that she likes her guys, or the guy she's dating, she likes him to be like masculine, and I guess you could say like aggressive. So, I mean, Damon Dash was that type. And y'all can take this next thing I'm gonna tell y'all in any type of way y'all want, but this is another thing that threw the Aaliyah fans off. It just threw some people off, where he was being interviewed about Aaliyah, right? And then they asked him like, oh, how was she? And you know, he always said the run-of-the-mill things. She was cool. Oh, she always got my jokes. We never had an argument. She was just easygoing. We always had fun together. He says this in almost any interview, right? But then he also says like, you know, like she was like a white girl, like basically saying like the way Aaliyah was. I guess he was, in a way, he was trying to say that Aaliyah didn't act ghetto. She wasn't the ghetto acting type. But he said it like, oh, specifically out his mouth. He said she was like a white girl. And a lot of people was like, what? I'll play it right here.
Nah, she just was like a white girl. You know what I mean? Like when you talk to her, it wasn't no hood shit with it at all. Not even a little bit.
Kind of like, I get what he was trying to say, but it's just the thing where it's like, sometimes the message isn't delivered in the best way. And Damon Dash, you could have said something better than that, okay? What? She was like a white girl.
Wait a minute, hold up.
What y'all think about that? I also meant to mention how a few years ago it came out that Damon Dash's girlfriend, now fiance, came out saying how she looks to Aaliyah to guide their relationship, and she speaks to her spirit, and take what y'all want from that. Then we have the situation of how he always talked about when it came to talking about R. Kelly with Aaliyah, she didn't really want to talk about it. She shied away from talking about it, but she did make sure to mention that he was a bad guy. And at the time, right, this is 2001. Of course, Damon Dash already knew what had happened with them in the early 90s, the first album. I mean, come on, right? Who didn't know about that? And they talked about it, and
We talked about it up to the point where it hurt. And then she said, I don't want to talk about it no more. Leave it alone. And when she would, I kind of didn't want to know because I would have to respect her wish no matter what. And her wish was, leave it alone, let me heal, let me rest, I'm in love, let's just enjoy this.
She had moved past it.
Yeah.
in 2001, R. Kelly had a song called Fiesta. Jay-Z was featured on the song, you know, Rockefeller and everything. Damon Dash still appeared in the music video.
Busting this bubble, and you know when you're in trouble. He's talking in doubles.
Another thing where a lot of fans and other people was just like, you know, all the trauma R. Kelly caused her, and y'all talked about it and all this, but you still was in his Fiesta music video. And Damon Dash retaliated by saying, oh, Aaliyah told me to go in the music video. I only did what Aaliyah asked me to do.
I was in Fiesta, but only because Aaliyah said to do it exactly that way, so I did what she wanted me to do.
And it's kind of like, head scratch. What y'all think about that? I mean, on one hand, I get it to where Aaliyah would be like, okay, it's just business. It's Rockefeller, Jay-Z's on this track. You know, it's just like a video shoot, whatever. Do what you gotta do. Be in the hot tub, pour a liquor bottle, whatever you want to do. Like, you know, do what you gotta do. It's business. I can see Aaliyah being in that type of headspace, like, whatever. Go do that music video. I'm gonna go film this movie. You know what I'm saying? But then I can also see Aaliyah being like, really? Like, oh, did you have to? Or to me, Damon Dash strikes me as the type to where, like, he wouldn't even have cared if Aaliyah liked it or not. He was just gonna be in the music video. He was just gonna do what he wanted to do. Because at that time, Damon Dash had like that, like I said, he had that playboy, womanizer type of energy about him. And there's so many pictures of him, and all you gotta do is Google. All you gotta do is Google. So that's why, even now talking about this, making this video, a lot of people often wonder, like, how much of her best interest did he have? You know, because him still doing that music video about R. Kelly, knowing everything, knowing the history, it's kind of like, it's a little sketchy, it's a little head scratchy. The year 2001 is going on, we get to the summertime, they still spending time with each other when they can, and you know, as many pictures of them on the beach, you know, softball games, just having fun. And you know, she really became a part of the Rockefeller crew. She was wearing chains. It was official. Then we get to August 2001 and everything just falls apart. But before that, if you really pay attention, you can see that Aaliyah shot the music video for More Than a Woman 2 weeks prior to the Rock the Boat shoot, and Damon Dash was on set with her for that. It's no footage, but there's pictures of Damon Dash on set with Aaliyah for Rock the Boat. It was official, and he always made sure to visit her sets when he could. But being as busy as he was, he couldn't make it all the way to the Bahamas. As he said, Hype Williams, and I'm gonna do another video about him too, Hype Williams decided to take the video to the Bahamas for some reason, and Damon Dash just couldn't make it because he had prior engagements as a co-founder of Rockefeller.
So I broke out to go back to New York. She told me she was going to the Bahamas, and I was against it, like, yo, don't go. And then down to the last, we had the Blackberries, down to the last Blackberry that we had, before she went there, she was like, I don't like that plane. And I was like, don't get on it.
I fully, truly believe if Damon Dash was able to go to the Bahamas with Aaliyah, she would still be here. And that accident would have never happened. What do y'all think? If Damon Dash was really able to go to the Bahamas with Aaliyah while she was filming the video, and when they wrapped it up and whatever happened at that airport, I really think she wouldn't have gotten on that plane. What do y'all think? Because to me, Damon Dash seems like a no-nonsense type. Like, you can't put nothing over his head. He's not just gonna fall for anything. And I'm not saying that Aaliyah fell for anything, or she just let people tell her what to do, or okay, let's just go on the... I'm not saying that. I'm just saying something happened to the point where a situation was manipulated to where Aaliyah and her team got on that plane. And that's the ball of confusion right there. What happened between where she left the beach to go to the airport to them getting on the flight, and that's the ball of confusion. And I know I always get deep into this because it's like, it just always bothers me. It will always bother me. I know it always will bother a lot of people how preventable that was. When it comes to other things, and it might have been some questionable behavior, but when it comes to safety and protection, I feel like Damon Dash would have been on top of that and be like, no, we're not taking this. We're going to wait for another flight. We got to go back to the hotel, go back to the resort, stay at the airport for a few more hours, whatever. Yeah, we're not taking that little shit that y'all trying to pack us on. No, we're going to wait for this bigger flight, and we're going to be out of here.
Get out of here! I could have never known anything like that would have happened.
Yeah.
In hindsight, had I known that, then yes, I would have actually broke boundaries and definitely did things to make sure she was safe. But I could have never imagined that type of could have happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I really believe if Damon Dash went to the Bahamas with her, Aaliyah would still be here. So overall, that was just a breakdown of the whole Aaliyah and Damon Dash relationship and budding romance and everything that was. And we could always think about everything that could have been, and think about, like, if they would have had kids together, would they still be together? What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that? Do y'all think that Aaliyah and Damon Dash were meant to be? We always talk about the what ifs about Aaliyah's career and the what ifs about this and that, but think about Aaliyah's life. She was only 22. She was only 22. When I turned 22, it made me realize how young that was. She had so much more life to live. She had a career. She had much more to do in her career. But Aaliyah had so much more life to live, and she never got to live it. As a public, we never got to see it. So that's why I bring this video involving that side of her life that she liked to keep private. But I feel like as fans, we're curious about it, and it makes for interesting discussion. How do y'all think that relationship with Damon Dash would have played out? And do you think they would still be together now in 2022? Please leave your thoughts down below. This should be a really interesting discussion. And to all of y'all that made it this far in the video, most of y'all should know this was not done with malice intent. This is not a trashing Damon Dash video, but it's just that dynamic of their relationship was kind of like a little to some people. And there was an age gap that they had. It was like an 8-year age gap. He was 8 years older than her, but at the time, Aaliyah was 22. She was a grown woman. It was what it was. What we gonna do about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, she was a grown woman. But it just makes me wonder how that relationship would have played out, and how Aaliyah's life would have played out with him as, like her boyfriend, eventually fiance, eventually husband, and that whole love story between them. It makes me wonder how that would have played out, and if they would have stayed together, and if not him, who else would Aaliyah have connected to? Leave your thoughts down below. I cannot wait to read your comments and interact with y'all. This should bring interesting comments and an interesting, intriguing discussion. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching and listening. I'll see y'all in the next video.